What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder, where we talk all things Marvel and MCU, and today we have some really exciting news about the Fantastic Four and actors that could have already been cast for the roles. And if we think about this actually makes sense because the Fantastic Four movie coming to the MCU is actively in development. We know right now they are eyeing some really big name directors, have pretty much all of the writing team ready, and Kevin Feige announced that the Fantastic Four movie is actively in development over a year ago. And if you want to count his announcement about the Fantastic Four coming to the MCU at SDCC in 2019, well, it's been a few years since he announced that the Fantastic Four are coming. And it looks like Marvel Studios is prepping for a very big announcement coming very soon. Now, it could be at San Diego Comic-Con, which is coming this year, although reports have said that they're not going to attend, but it also could be coming up at D23, as we've mentioned before on the channel. But we're going to talk about all of this in this video, including the actors and actresses that could have already been cast for the Fantastic Four movie coming up in the MCU. So if you want to stay up to date on all things happening within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Now, the first actress that could have already been cast for the Fantastic Four as the Invisible Woman is Dakota Fanning, probably a name that you weren't expecting. However, according to a report that has come out this morning by Giant Freaking Robot, Dakota Fanning has been cast for a role in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In their article, they say that their trusted and proven sources have told them that Dakota Fanning has joined the MCU. However, they did not tell them the specific role in which she was cast for. But of course, everybody is already speculating that she has been cast as Sue Storm, aka the Invisible Woman. I'm assuming it's majorly because of the blonde hair, and let's be honest, she does fit the description. Now, Dakota Fanning has been acting for an incredibly long time. She's been an actress since she was a child. So I think that she would do an excellent job as far as the acting is concerned. And we do have more casting news to talk about for the Fantastic Four, but first I want to talk about how it would be if Dakota Fanning was cast as the Invisible Woman and Reed Richards was John Krasinski. I really like the both of them, but I'm not sure I'd like to see them together as a couple. However, here is one very interesting thing. Dakota Fanning is 28 years old, and John Krasinski is 42. And keep in mind, in the comics, there's a pretty big age difference between Sue Storm and Reed Richards. So that could actually work. And of course, as always, I say I trust in Kevin Feige's casting choices. But of course, keep in mind that Dakota Fanning is not confirmed to be playing Sue Storm / the Invisible Woman. But if this report is true from Giant Freaking Robot and Dakota Fanning has joined the MCU, that is just the role that she is being speculated to play right now. But it's just speculation. Meanwhile, there has been some things happening on IMDB. An IMDB page for the Marvel Cinematic Universe cast has listed two not super popular actors as being cast for the new MCU Fantastic Four movie for the Human Torch and the Invisible Woman. Now, always take IMDb with a grain of salt. It's definitely much better than Wikipedia or Google because you can't just go in and edit it. But of course, nothing is official until Marvel Studios comes out and says it, or a major trade company like Variety says it. But these casting choices I actually like. The first one is Rudy Pankow. Most people know him from Outer Banks. He plays JJ, and of course this casting would be for the Human Torch, Johnny Storm, the brother of Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman. Now, I definitely don't mind this casting. He could definitely play a Johnny Storm. I think he's got the look, I think he has the overall figure for it, and he very well could pass for the brother of a blonde Sue Storm. In fact, if Dakota Fanning was cast as the Invisible Woman, these two casting choices right here wouldn't actually be that bad because they kind of look like they could be related. You could absolutely pull that off in the MCU, and of course, if they have great performances, they could knock it out of the park. However, this IMDb page does list a different actress for the role of the Invisible Woman, and that actress is Elizabeth Lail. Now, most people probably know her from the Netflix series You or the series Gossip Girl. And although we will be talking about John Krasinski and Emily Blunt in just a second, I do actually think Elizabeth Lail would be a really good casting choice for the Invisible Woman. And I definitely think that her and Rudy Pankow could do very well together as brother and sister in the MCU as Johnny Storm and Sue Storm. They definitely look like they could be related, and they kind of give off sort of the same vibe a little bit, which I like, and I think the chemistry could be good on screen. Now, here's the thing, or two things. One is that this is kind of lining up with what they said was going to happen for the Fantastic Four. Insiders have said that the Fantastic Four cast is going to be a combination of very well-known actors and not so well-known actors. The not so well-known actors being Rudy and Elizabeth, and nothing against them, I think they're great, but they are not as famous as, say, John Krasinski. Or take some members of the original Fantastic Four cast like Jessica Alba and Chris Evans. And I am assuming at this point that we are going to be getting John Krasinski as the main Mr. Fantastic in the MCU. I really don't see how at this point in time they could go with anybody else. When I saw him in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, I thought, yes, just perfect. He is Mr. Fantastic. And that's why I think they should go with John Krasinski, not because of fan castings or anything like that. Although don't get me wrong, I really wanted him to show up as Mr. Fantastic in Multiverse of Madness. But when I actually saw him in the movie, I thought, perfect. The way he looks and his demeanor, how he presents himself as Mr. Fantastic, I thought was fantastic. Pun intended. So he would be the well-known actor, the big actor as part of the cast. Now, to address his wife playing Sue Storm, I think we'd all like this. However, I will say that I have heard John Krasinski and both Emily Blunt talk about what it's like when one of them is working on a movie. They've shared before in interviews that when one is working on a movie, the other typically isn't, so the other can help with the kids. Keep in mind, a lot of the time, the actors have to travel and live away from their actual homes for months and months at a time. And as I mentioned, John and Emily have both expressed that they like the fact that the other one is there helping with the kids when either one of them is filming a movie. And that way they all get to travel together as well. And both John and Emily being cast for the same movie might not exactly be what they want family-wise. However, if it does happen, I'm not going to complain one bit. I'm going to be really happy about it, and I know fans are as well. However, I do feel like we are kind of getting further and further away from Emily Blunt being cast as the Invisible Woman. Now, the only one left would be The Thing, Ben Grimm. And there's a lot of people who could play Ben Grimm. We've speculated a lot about it before, from people like The Rock to Channing Tatum. I want to know who you think would play a very good Ben Grimm / The Thing. Let me know in the comments down below. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, it does look like Marvel Studios is prepping for a really big reveal. Now, it was reported by One Take News that Marvel Studios would not be attending San Diego Comic-Con of 2022, and that Marvel Studios was preparing for a really big panel at D23. And this is true, they are prepping for some pretty big things at D23. However, there are some signs hinting that Marvel Studios could be attending SDCC 2022. The SDCC blog has reported that they have seen some Marvel Studios signs for San Diego Comic-Con of 2022, specifically for She-Hulk. Now, keep in mind this does not mean that they will have a panel. Marvel Studios has attended SDCC before in the past without having an actual hall, but have had booths for merch and stuff like that. So that could be what is going to happen here. They could have a presence at SDCC, but their big news could still be reserved for D23, which is coming in September. And considering that it is coming just a day after Disney Plus Day, I would say that some huge announcements are indeed coming, and hopefully one of those announcements is the cast of the Fantastic Four, since it seems like Marvel Studios really is trying to get the whole crew together for that film now. But let me know what you think about these casting rumors in the comments down below. Do you like the casting choices that have been listed on IMDB? Or do you think that Dakota Fanning would make a very good Invisible Woman? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest MCU news. For live updates, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.